A federal judge in Illinois scrambled to convene a last-minute hearing this morning to say she is, quote, startled by videos she is seeing of ICE's tactics on the streets of Chicago. Now, she says she has, quote, serious concerns that the federal law enforcement agents she is seeing are not following her orders in the Windy City. Her statement comes as CNN obtains new video that shows a Border Patrol agent tackling and pinning a 19-year-old outside of a Walgreens store in Chicago.
He's American. He's a citizen. He's a citizen. He's a citizen. He's a citizen. That's my brother-in-law. Get away from me. You don't know what's going on, so get the back.
Just want to emphasize, she was saying he's a citizen. That's what she was screaming. And the incident started when agents crashed their vehicle into an SUV. The people inside that car fled on foot. Agents chased them into a Walgreens. Witnesses tell CNN they went into the Walgreens to record what was happening, but they were forced to leave and confronted the agent pinning the 19-year-old to the ground outside the store. CNN's Whitney Wild is in Chicago. Whitney, that video is just one of several we've seen in recent days in Chicago. And we don't know if the judge saw that particular video, but she did reference his images and videos that she's been watching in the news.
And there are a lot of them. The reality here is that whenever there are these confrontations between the public and federal agents that flare up, there is a lot of video captured by people on the ground. This has been a huge story in Chicago. Media outlets, everyone, every one of the broadcast networks, all of the newspapers, all of the blogs here are covering this story very, very carefully, Dana. And so what this judge said was after she had seen these news reports, she wanted, to bring everybody back into court to explain themselves. Let me just give you a little bit of context for the court case. So over the last several weeks, we've seen these flare-ups between protesters, members of the press who are covering the protest and federal agents at the Broadview ICE facility. That's about 30 minutes west of Chicago. And it was there that we were starting to see federal agents using chemical munitions against peaceful protesters, against members of the press. This really blew up when a WBBM, that's the CBS affiliate here, a WBBM reporter says that she was pepperballed by federal agents in her vehicle, and she had to get out. She couldn't breathe. It was a really dangerous situation for her. After that happened, the union that represents journalists went to federal court to ask a judge to put more controls on how federal agents are using force on the ground. Last week, a judge issued a temporary restraining order basically saying that federal agents are not to use chemical munitions against peaceful protesters, against members of the press. They needed to be much more cautious about their use of force. Then Tuesday happened. That is when that crash you referenced happened. The public saw that. It all played out on a city street in broad daylight. And when the public learned what happened, through witnesses, through basically word of mouth and from social media videos, a crowd gathered. And that's what you're looking at right here. As you see, the Chicago Police Department went to that scene to try to help with crowd control. As federal agents were leaving, they detonated again these chemical munitions, exposing the public, exposing reporters who were on the ground, but also members of the Chicago Police Department who did not know they were about to be tear gassed. So 13 of those officers were exposed. The judge referenced those incidents in aggregate, and so she brought everybody back into court today to explain themselves and reiterated the importance of following her temporary restraining order and put more conditions on it, Dana, adding that she wants every one of these federal agents who's working on this Operation Midway Blitz to wear a body camera. She says it must be recording. And then again, I think the most important moment from the hearing was when she said this: I'm a little startled, frankly, that since Thursday, when I entered that temporary restraining order last week, I'm getting images and seeing images on the news, in the paper, reading reports, where at least from what I'm seeing, I'm having serious concerns that my order's being followed. And then later she said, I'm really not happy. Again, she put more conditions on her temporary restraining order, and then she says she wants to see the ICE field director in court on Monday to explain himself, Dana.
Wow. That is going to be a very important hearing indeed. Thank you so much, Whitney. Appreciate you walking us through all that.